Hey everybody, welcome to Behind the Mirror. I'm your host, Keith Posehn, CEO of Zorz, and I've got my friend Dafra Sanou with me, and we're going to wander through the woods of creators today. This is going to be a lot of fun. All right, Dafra, so glad to have you on. This is, for everybody here, Dafra is our after today. She's our former head of revenue and strategy. We're super bummed, but also excited for her new role. So we're recording this on the Friday before you start your new gig. So excited, so sad, but let's have some fun today because we were talking about some really interesting stuff earlier.
Yeah.
So, creators and the level of authenticity, what makes a good one, what makes an AI resistant creator, which I think is a really interesting concept based on the last episode with David Rodnitsky. We were talking through, AI or dominated or disrupted, segments or industries, AI native ones and AI resistant. I think that creators are going to be AI resistant for a number of reasons, but we're also talking Dafra too, we've expounded on this before in previous episodes, that the core of partnerships is leveraging, it's really a trust game. It's leveraging the trust that a partner has in their audience or their friends or who they can reach that you can't. So you're leveraging their trust to build trust in your brand. And that trust, with this shift into AI, into LLM-based discovery, that trust is becoming ever more important because I don't think anyone's going to ever trust an AI at least as much as they trust a friend. Or what was the?
Her is a movie.
Well, some friends. That's true. That's true. We'll see. That's a good point here. Spike Jones, are you listening? But I also think too, it's not only AI resistant, but the flip side too is, there is such an interesting angle to the level of trust people place in creators. And it's really hard there's no good litmus test here. So I wanted to talk about this for a bit. We were going through it earlier.
I know, that's what, first of all the feels.
Yeah, I know, right.
But hey, still, let's chat because there's a couple of things that are, I don't know, I feel like just open discussion because there's not necessarily an answer to these things, right? So we were chatting earlier about the fact that a good creator is not necessarily rare, but they're not necessarily the easiest thing to find, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about creators that just have a very unique relationship with their followers, I think that you and I have spoken about that a few times. There are some creators that are just very aspirational. People love to follow them because they just love to think about, oh my gosh, I would love to emulate your life one day. And this is great. There are some creators that achieve a certain level of parasocial relationship with their audiences where people really see them as a friend. I haven't met them in real life, but they feel like the person is going through some things that they are going through, or maybe has gone through some things that they are going through right now. So they feel like this is somebody that they can identify to, and overall they just have a certain pull on their audiences, and people love them and like to listen to them, probably because they have not been misled by them, because they just believe their advice and because they generally give them feedback that just helps them in other areas of their lives. And the thing is that there is not a measure for this, right? It's everything in social media can be faked. So it's a little difficult to stay from the outside and think, oh, I can definitely understand this. Number of comments doesn't mean anything. Number of likes doesn't mean anything. Sure, it's an indicator, right? But for somebody who really wants to fake, to game the system, those things are things that can be made up. So the relationship that someone has with their followers, though, is something that is just so unique and just so, I wouldn't say fragile, because very often you would see that followers are willing to ride and die for an influencer they like, or a content that they value, or somebody that they see and they hold them in really high esteem. So it's just really interesting to think about how different kinds of creators, for different reasons and in different ways, are actually able to establish themselves and to gain that level of love almost from their followers, and therefore are able to be influencers and creators that AI probably cannot replace, because what they will say generally are things that people are actually going to pay attention to. So I don't know. So tell me a little bit about the creators that you like and what you like. Why do you think that you like them?
Well, it's interesting because, to your point, this level of like trust that people place, it happens at also different levels of scale. I think I got some interesting examples. So like you can find it at like on YouTube, for example, at like small and stunningly massive scale. Like people swear by MrBeast. And I mean, MrBeast is a machine. But at the same time, he does form quite a connection with people, and he does try to genuinely like talk to his fans and engage with them. And I think that counts for a lot. One of the reasons he's gotten such an unbelievable following, like top one on YouTube, period. But it happens even at, I know, 1 million subscribers, a smaller scale, but still, it happens at interesting levels of scale. Like one of my favorites is my friends over at Tulare Community College. So Brian, the professor, went ahead and he made a whole YouTube channel around Magic the Gathering. And what I find so interesting is he got such a following that really trusts on a level where that audience is so stunningly valuable, and because he cares. He cares. He tells his audience no. He'll say, these are not cards you should buy. And these are not things you should use because this is not a good value for you. And that willingness to be honest, I think, at any scale really ends up connecting with people when you have the genuineness as a person, when you have the content through which you connect with people, you put in that effort and people respond to it. I think it's knowing how to, bring your whole self to it in a way. Like we talked years ago about Uber, and you said something on the team there that really stuck with me, and I've always taken from then. You loved how you could bring your full self to work. And I realized that was the thing I felt as well. A lot of the team all felt that. And I think that full self is so critical. We were talking earlier, like, what's a good way to measure this? And actually, I think maybe it is when you believe the person's bringing their full self to it.
When you believe that the person is bringing their full self, that is, I think that's pretty good, actually.
Sorry, what I want to go into is Jaden Animations. My daughter absolutely just loves her, and she's amazing, an incredible animator, and with a team of animators, does these great kind of slice of life story videos that are just fantastic. And what's so interesting is she's very genuine. She opens up about experiences she's had with ADHD, with anxiety, with everything that's gone on in her life. And with her, like the video with her getting a kitten was absolutely hilarious. And they're so well done, so genuine. And so you get a window into this person that's willing to share a great deal. And then yet she also shouts out to all of the other animators that work on it. At the end of every single video, then there's the whole animation team, fan art scrolling past, and she spends 2 to 3 minutes more just talking to her audience in a way that's so very, it's just, again, it's the genuineness. It's that full self. You don't feel like this is a projection. You feel like this is the person that I'm seeing. If I were to walk up and see Jaden in real life, I would see this person here too. And I think that is a bond that people are willing to create because they can tell. I think they can tell that and understand that that's true there. My daughter's responded well to it. Jaden's been a huge inspiration to her, which I think is fantastic.
I think you do have a point there. But you're right. The whole self thing may be, maybe that, and the opportunity that, the fact that they take the opportunity to share things that they have been through that are not just all glossy and high gloss.
Yeah.
When I think about creators that I love, there's many. So I have been a YouTube person for many, 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 many years before people actually thought it was really cool to like YouTube. And I would say the platforms that I mostly use are YouTube and Instagram. And Jackie Aina is a creator that I have followed for a very, very long time. Probably within the first year that she joined YouTube. And now she has several million followers on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and so on. And she created a brand of fragrances that is sold in Sephora. And literally she built her career before our very eyes. And I just appreciated what she stood for. There's also bringing your whole self, which is absolutely true. That said, she is particular about actually being really private. So there's a lot about her life that people actually do not know.
Fair point.
She will talk about some of her struggles when she feels like they're relevant to her platform. But she's also at the same time a very private person. And she tries her very best just to tell people, hey, like, there's a lot of things about me that you do not know, and I think that's okay. Even though I really love you guys. Like, I think that there's certain parts of my life that I just want to keep to myself.
Yeah. That's pretty genuine too, though.
Yeah. in spite of
That's
that,
honesty. Yeah.
I still really, really, really like her because I like what she stands for. I appreciate the fact that she fought against really odds that was stacked against her as a smaller content creator on YouTube to rise through the ranks to be where she's at right now. I appreciate the stance that she has on beauty and makeup because that's what she started with, and now she has a fragrance and candles brand.
Nice.
And I just appreciate the hustle, right? So I have bought everything and anything that woman has released. She started with making collaborations with other brands of makeup. I've bought every single collaboration she ever had. Not even when I did not need them. I've bought them to give them to people. Then she started doing fragrances. I bought every single fragrance she ever released. And she started doing perfumes. I bought every single fragrance she's ever released as well. And it's because I just want to support her. She
Yeah.
does not need my money. She definitely is at a point where she is wealthy enough. She has just like really made her name for herself, and I'm so proud of her. But at the same time, I still believe what she stands for. And
Yeah.
that's why and her products are also really good. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm still willing to invest in the brand. So this is still somebody who was able to achieve really strong parasocial relationships with her followers while still keeping a big part of herself to herself. And then beyond that, we have somebody like Marquise.
Yep.
That is just so likable. And so you can, through the screen at least, it seems so kind and funny and knowledgeable and as impartial as one can be when, like you have thousands of electronics thrown in your face per year. That said, we don't know much about his life either. We just know him to be an amazing reviewer, to be apparently a very kind person, definitely very humble, somebody who never brags, who is always invited to big events because, again, of the pool he has, who has really nicely paced videos, who gives advice to people who actually want to go into content creation. That's what we know about him.
Yeah.
Still, he is able to reach through the screen and grip people and have people like he is the first review I watch on anything, any electronic that I ever want to buy. I don't even know any. That's not true. I know a couple of other tech reviewers that I like.
Line of Tech Tips, Dave
always,
2D. Yeah, those are the good ones. Yep.
He's always the first one that I will go to.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know anything about that man.
You make a good point there too. I think that it's like Jaden Animations, for example, like talks about aspects of her life, but not everything. I think that there is a genuineness that you don't have to open up about everything, but what you do share is very genuine. Like another of my favorites, like too. So one of those ice cream sandwich. If anyone hasn't watched his videos, he is absolutely hilarious. A master of comedic timing and hilarious doodly animations. Please go watch his videos. They're just so much fun for everybody. And he does not really share a huge amount about his life, but his animations are so much fun. And he's so just very much himself in them and so quirky and fun that people still get really bought into that. That's like one aspect. He doesn't share much else, but he doesn't have to. I think the other one was Pankos Hank, the storm chasing YouTuber, is just like absolutely fantastic. Hell of a musician too, but he's there for storm chasing. And that's what you see. That's his life that he shares. And it's fascinating to ride along with him as he does this. And he has I think a fairly substantial Patreon that supports, and he's over 1 million subscribers, which again, like fantastic to see. But what's interesting is, again, he's figured out, he shares an aspect of things. And that aspect is very genuine. So I think to your point, it's not sharing everything. It's sharing, it's what you do share that's meeting that level. And I think for brands of ours that are, friends of ours that are listening, it's like, I think one of the things we've learned is there's no good metric for this. You really have to go looking to see, right?
I'll even raise you one. You don't even have to be relatable. You can be completely out of touch. Becca Bloom is an example. Becca Bloom, I think, has she even been on social media a year? I don't even think so. I think she's been on social media like 6 months. I just discovered that girl.
Yeah.
She is hilarious. Hilarious. Like, daughter of a billionaire, grew up in Atherton. Like, completely out of touch for most people. That said, she has a massive TikTok, Instagram.
4 million followers, I just checked. Yeah.
Crazy.
On TikTok. But
crazy. And she talks about things that most of us will never experience. Yesterday, she posted a video about going on a picnic. The scarf that she put as a tablecloth for her, like as a cloth, a lining for her picnic basket, that scarf is from Hermes, is worth thousands of dollars. That's what she lined her picnic basket with. And then she had caviar in her picnic basket and truffle. She was going on a picnic with a friend. And then she had a like $1,000 like bottle of wine. Meanwhile, she did not even talk about the price. She didn't care. She was just putting together a picnic basket and then bringing people along for putting together a picnic basket. Or she just travels with her mom, except they're traveling private. And, they're very fortunate. That said, that lady is still able to grasp people somehow by being exactly who she is, which is somebody who's super wealthy. But at the same time, sometimes she shares like little snippets about her life. She's, I think right now she's preparing her wedding. And she talks about choosing a venue. And people will listen, even though those venues are not affordable for most people. I listened to the whole video and I was like, oh, that sounds so nice. Oh, yeah, those are some really nice considerations to think about. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have thought about this. So, sure, that's a life that is out of touch for most people, right? Completely out of reach. I still like her. I still think she's great. And I just listen to her videos. So, of course, there's definitely a few arguments here, right? Because given her level of wealth and access, there's definitely two schools of thought here based on what I've seen. There's some people who think that is purely engineered. Like she knows exactly, or she has advisors that know exactly what to do to be loved by people, to be likable, while still while still being authentic, because she's not lying about who she is. Like she's not pretending to be somebody normal. She's not. Yeah. She's fully out of touch, and she's not pretending to be somebody normal. That said, she still seems like a really nice person. So there's a school of thought of that's like this is purely engineered. And there's another school of thought of no, like maybe she's just somebody who's awesome and she just happens to be wealthy. And it's okay, like that's not a crime, right? And I still think that in an era where sometimes, having that level of extreme wealth is not something that is well regarded in, with the masses. For somebody like her to actually be able to establish herself the way she has is genius. And that begs back to the question. We don't have an answer as far as what makes somebody able to create a parasocial relationship with their followers. And sometimes a relationship that is that strong.
Yeah. And who knows, we may come up with it, but I think it's one of those where too, it's like, as a brand, if you're trying to figure out how to access that, because I think those are the ones you really have to look for. I mean, you can go find a bunch of stuff, people that have a lot of followers, but that's not who you need. You need the people that have a connection, and it still takes effort to find that. It still takes work to find them, to look, to develop the relationship. And I think it's, I think for like Becca Bloom, for example, like she figured out how to just be genuinely herself. There's absolutely no pretense here. Like daughter of a multi-billionaire. Okay, cool. She's going to do her thing, and I think that in a way is attractive to people from a brand or from a brand, but parasocial relationship standpoint. That's just like, okay, cool. I'm not like, there's no pretense here. There's no falseness to this. It's like, all right, I'm gonna look because I want to see what this is like, maybe. But it also comes down to as well, like, what's then the next step? Because when we think about how more and more discovery is going through LLMs now, we're seeing more and more change. We're seeing a lot of consumer behavior shifting dramatically.
Yeah.
I think this is the segment, or one of the segments, but probably one of the biggest ones that's really AI resistant, because like as we're marking with Dave Ranitzky, see like in the GEO type of generative results now, when you ask a question, it's going to cite that YouTube video. Or you're going to go looking for how to do it, and a video, an LM's not going to give you that right now. It might give you some instructions, but you're like, I want to see this. You need to go find it. You want to go look through it, or you just want to go connect. You want to go be a part of that, see something going on. That counts for a lot. That genuineness of connection.
And in addition to what you said, the reality is also that there's creators like this that are born every day. The example of Becca that we use, she hasn't even been on social media for a year. I don't think so, because I started following her like just a couple of months ago. I don't think she's been on social media for that long. And she's amassed that level of followers. That's number one. Creators like that are born every day. every day there's somebody who's going to pick up a camera and say, you know what I'm going to do today is talk about something I'm interested in. And then there's some people who are lucky enough that they find their tribe early, and then they just grow just like virally. Or sometimes they don't even grow, but then they're still amazing creators, and creators that have an incredible pool with their audience. The thing is that we spoke about really large creators, but there's creators that are small. There are small ones that still have very, very strong parasocial relationships with their audiences. And that is something that is hard to replace. It's hard to replace somebody that you like telling you that they like something too, right? So sure, I definitely will listen to ChatGPT if Chat tells me that they like something, right? But if my friend calls me and she's like, oh my gosh, you have to try this, I'd be like, but it doesn't have good reviews on Amazon. She'll be like, they don't know how to use it. Trust me, I used it. It works. I'll buy it. Yep. There's a strong chance I'll buy it.
No, totally. I mean, that's why customer referral programs are going to stick around too. It's like, you're going to trust your friends. You're not going to, outside of maybe Her, that movie, you're not going to replace your friends with an LLM in general. But I mean, it's a good point, because I think that we're finding a lot of the shift. The question is, where is the shift taking place? Where is it not? We look across like SEO as a segment and go like, wow, there's so much in SEO that is no longer going to matter from a perspective of use, but it's still a signal. It's still important. SEO is not dying. It's more important because it's the signal that LLMs use. But SEO affiliate is going to have a problem because they're not going to get a click. They're not going to get someone to come to their site. They're just going to be a reference for an LLM. So that changes the game. So I think the question is like, how do we deal with this? But yet these creators, they're outside of that loop. They're completely removed from that paradigm, or not completely, but very removed, outside of discovery. What you got?
No, I said they're removed for now.
For now, that's true.
For now.
That's true. Yeah, we don't really know how it's going to shift, but I think they're fairly AI resistant because I think the AI will help with the production of videos and the discovery of them. But the human connection, I think, is still one of the key things. I
agree with you. Given how fast things are moving, in 6 months, I may have different thoughts. Let's chat then.
Yep. Yeah, I know, seriously.
As of today, I agree with you. And I just think that is interesting. Of course, I mean, that's the question that affiliate agencies have been trying to answer for as long as they've existed. What makes a creator, well, not affiliate, I'm so sorry, influencer agencies. What makes a creator the creator that we really want to work with? Because whatever they say goes, or people actually really do trust them. So I don't know. That's actually something I would like to think about more. I'm just going to keep thinking about that because everybody that we spoke to was able to captivate their audience for a different reason. So sure, they're authentic in whatever it is that they share with their audience. So maybe that's where it lies. But hey, that's an open question.
It is. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Dafra. So, everybody, I'm Keith Posehn, CEO of Zorz. We are a marketing consulting group that does customer referral programs. So we are the player, and we've done a bunch of referral programs. We'd love to run and scale yours. We also work on affiliate. We do audits of programs for clients. And give us a call or hit us up. Email is hello@zorz.com. That's ZORZ.com. And Dafra Sanou, wonderful to have you. One of my best friends ever, everybody. So she's off to a new role. We're going to miss her terribly, but at the same time, super excited. And we will get you back on. We're going to have to revisit this subject. I know. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, again, I'm telling you, in 6 months, we have to think about it because things are probably going to be different. They are absolutely going to be different. All right. Have a good one, everybody listening. Have a great one, and we'll catch you all next week.